A good evening to you all, and thank you for joining us here on Rwanda Television News tonight. We do hope you had yourselves a productive Thursday. Now here's a sneak peek of our edition. Rwanda's Minister of Local Government, Dominique Habimana, who is in Qatar for the Second World Summit for Social Development, joined by Ambassador Igor Marara, has held fruitful discussions with His Excellency Fahad Hamad Al Sulaiti, the Director General of the Qatar Fund for Development. Rwanda has received 223 more Rwandans from 69 families who returned from the Democratic Republic of Congo. We are glad to have your company tonight, coming to you straight from the heart of Africa, Kigali, and my name is Martina Abera. Now let us begin by informing you that Rwanda's Minister of Local Government, Dominique Habimana, who is in Qatar for the Second World Summit for Social Development, joined by Ambassador Igor Marara, has held fruitful discussions with His Excellency Fahad Hamad Al Sulaiti, the Director General of the Qatar Fund for Development. Their discussions focused on deepening the Rwanda-Qatar cooperative in inclusive development, education, and scaling the innovative cash transfer program implemented by the non-profit organization Give Directly. Minister Habimana also held a bilateral meeting with His Excellency Mariam bint Ali bin Nasser Al Misnad, Qatar's Minister of State for International Cooperation. The meeting reaffirmed Rwanda-Qatar collaboration in advancing inclusive social and economic development. The minister also joined two high-level country panels on tackling child poverty and strengthening multi-stakeholder partnerships for inclusive social development. He shared Rwanda's experience with social protection programs such as VUP and the graduation policy, and enables beneficiaries to progressively leave poverty behind. He also highlighted their role in enhancing children's nutrition, health, and household resilience. He reaffirmed Rwanda's commitment to building resilient communities and the realization of the world's sustainable development goals. Moving ahead, by the end of 2025, the construction and renovation works of Masaka Hospital, located in Kicukiro District, Kigali City, will be completed. This international standard hospital will have the capacity to receive over 2,000 patients per day and will feature a small airstrip capable of accommodating an aircraft transporting critically ill patients in need of urgent medical evacuation. Enor Gladys has more.
The final phase of construction and renovation works at Masaka Hospital, located in Kicukiro District, Kigali City, is progressing rapidly. Outside the hospital premises, heavy construction equipments are working on the construction of access roads for vehicles and pedestrians heading to the facility. Inside the buildings, the installation of various equipment is ongoing, and in some areas, significant progress has already been made. For instance, hospital beds have already been placed in the patient rooms. The hospital is being renovated and constructed through a partnership between the government of Rwanda and the People's Republic of China. It is being built with modern, durable, and environmentally friendly materials. The Director General of the Rwanda Housing Authority, Alphonse Rukawurandekwe, confirmed that the project will be completed by the end of this year and that the facility will meet international standards.
Iyubaka ryabyo rigeze mu byo bita finishing.
I mentioned that the construction of the hospital has reached the finishing stage, as we are now at over 96% complete. This means that only about 4% of the work remains to fully complete the facility. When you visit the site, you can clearly see that the hospital looks almost finished. What's left is mainly the final touches and installation of the remaining equipment. We are confident that if no major challenges arise, the hospital will be fully completed and inaugurated before the end of this year.
Residents living near the hospital say that once it is completed, they expect to benefit in many ways beyond just the improved access to healthcare services. Both we and the patients will benefit from this development. Patients will have easier access to medicine nearby, and we too expect to receive more clients since our pharmacy is located right in front of the hospital. We have sufficient stock of medicines and have partnered with several insurance companies such as Radiant and Eden Care. We are confident that once the hospital becomes operational, other insurance providers will also come on board, making it convenient for both insured patients and those paying out of pocket to get the medicines they need easily.
As residents living here, we are very excited and very well prepared, especially since we run our businesses in these commercial buildings nearby. We feel fortunate that the hospital will be opening soon because we expect to benefit a lot from it.
The construction and renovation of Masaka Hospital coincided with the expansion of the Remera-Masaka-Kabuga Road. The Director General of the Rwanda Housing Authority, Alphonse Rukawarandekwe, considers this a significant step forward in the development of the country's infrastructure.
All of this is part of our government's plan to promote development and ensure that services are brought closer to people with the goal of improving the well-being of Rwandans. The new road, for instance, will make it easier to access the hospital as well as other essential services, connecting the city to Masaka Hospital. This will help residents reach services more quickly, facilitate trade and daily activities for people living in and around Masaka, and benefit everyone in general. Infrastructure projects being developed across the country are greatly contributing to these goals, all in line with the national vision of 2050.
The hospital is expected to be officially inaugurated at the end of 2025. The project, which has been under renovation for 3 years, will cost $84 million upon completion. Masaka Hospital will have the capacity to receive over 2,000 patients per day and will be equipped with 837 beds, a significant increase from the 200 beds it previously had. Enra Gladys, RwandaTV News.
Thank you, Enara, for that report. Now, Rwanda has received 223 more Rwandans from 69 families who returned from the Democratic Republic of Congo. Local authorities have urged them to join others in activities that contribute to national development and to avoid any unlawful behavior, emphasizing that Rwanda is a country governed by the rule of law. The group consists mainly of women and young people who were born in exile in the DRC. They said they had longed to return to their homeland. The returnees were received by the ministry in charge of emergency management. They said that after spending many years wandering in the forests, they are now happy to return to their country of birth, where they can live in peace and enjoy full rights. The returnees gave various reasons for their delayed return, including false information that had instilled fear, claiming that those who returned to Rwanda would be killed. After arriving, they were taken to the Nyarushishi transit camp, where they will stay temporarily before being reintegrated into society. Since the beginning of this year, a total of 5,174 Rwandans have returned from the DRC. Moving ahead, a factory producing single-use paper cups, which were previously imported, has been launched in Rwanda. We have more.
This factory, valued at over 500 million Rwandan francs, will now be manufacturing these cups locally. They are commonly used for beverages such as coffee and various fruit juices. The factory's director, Ndayisenga Ismail, says the cups made in Rwanda have a unique added value. We made an effort to ensure that our products meet high quality standards. For example, many of you have experienced cups that shrink or become too hot when you pour in coffee. So we address that by using stronger heat-resistant paper. Another improvement is that unlike many cups that use plastic lids, our lids are also made of paper. Coffee shop and juice shop owners who frequently require these cups say that they expect this development to reduce costs while still maintaining the quality they need. Director of SME Policy and Job Creation at the Ministry of Trade and Industry, Minicom, Ig Kagame emphasizes that the establishment of new industries is a positive indicator that Rwanda's goals to increase industrial production, boost the economy, and create new jobs are gradually being achieved. On behalf of the Ministry of Trade and Industry, we assure you of our collaboration and support in every possible way to ensure that these initiatives continue to grow. When we talk about paper cups from an economic perspective, it is an impact. The impact is broad, from job creation to promoting made in Rwanda products. That is why I emphasize that economically, this initiative will be highly beneficial for our country. Increasing the industry sector by 10% and creating 250 jobs annually are among the key targets of Rwanda's national strategy for transformation NST2. The continued establishment of new factories contributes significantly to achieving these goals.
The Embassy of Israel in Rwanda has reaffirmed its commitment in working with Rwanda to support STEM young innovators. This commitment came at the end of Israel-Rwanda Innovation Week. William Evans Mutabazi with more.
60 Rwandan young innovators participated in the Israel-Rwanda Innovation Week to foster high-impact collaborations between Rwanda innovators and Israel experts. Christine Shimwe-Tete, one of the young innovators who participated in this program, says that after noticing that some people feel shy when buying health products such as condoms, she came up with a project to create a vendor machine that will make it easy for them to get healthy products.
This is eco-friendly self-service machine that will be selling health products, including condoms, contraceptive pills, HIV test kits, and pads. It is bringing so many solutions. For example, the first one is breaking the social stigma for the people to go to buy the health products in the shops, clinics, and pharmacies. There is a fear of judgment, and from there, so it is breaking that stigma. Also, stock out issues and limited access of this product, like in the midnight, and also it is technology-driven solution because most of the project, all the competitors were just operating manually like pharmacies and clinics, but for us, you go and talk with the vending. Yeah.
On his part, Alice Nkurijayo showcased a project that will help farmers monitor their farms and access information about their work in real time. He says this will help farmers improve their farm yields.
We dedicated to use drone to revolutionize the agricultural system here in Rwanda. So the country problem we are trying to tackle to solving the first one is due to small yield farmers get because without real-time data. And then, of course, the other problem we are solving is manual monitoring is inefficient, is slow. So that's the problem. So we have found out.
The regional coordinator of STEM Power Rwanda, Paul Seruchiza, appreciated the efforts of these young innovators and noted that their initiatives give hope in addressing challenges faced by Rwandan society while also strengthening the quality of education.
We build the centers, and two, we train and collaborate with other organizations in Rwanda and outside Rwanda. And the idea is to strengthen the quality of education throughout our country, but also beyond, but also strengthen through the partnership, of course, strengthen the knowledge and exchange the knowledge with inside our population, but also outside partners. And what we have seen so far, we have seen a number of prototypes that have been developed, and we are now reaching a stage where these prototypes are going back to the market to start solving existing population about the people.
The ambassador of Israel to Rwanda, Einet Weiss, assured that the cooperation between the two countries in promoting youth-led technological initiatives will continue because it's among the shared visions of both countries.
The reason why we really marched with this idea and pushed it forward is because it's something I keep reiterating. I believe the commonalities and the similarities between Israel and Rwanda in the vision, in the size of the country, and in the real belief in investing in youth and startups. It's really, really common. So when we started thinking about this idea, it was very natural for us to do something like that in Rwanda. We've been in touch with the Ministry of ICT, and we've seen the effort and the investment per capita that this government is doing on startups, including hubs and trainings. And we said, okay, we have to do it because Israel is the startup nation. This is what we do well. Let's do it together and inspire each other. I keep saying every time, everywhere, I'm a great believer in this country. And I think what we're creating, really creating, not in theory, in reality, that we're creating bridges. Every person who comes here and loves what he sees goes back to Israel and comes back again. And that's what we're here for. And we see the change in your country, and we just want to be part of the journey.
With a funding of $20,000, the program received 60 students, out of whom 30 qualified for the final stage, while 3 projects were awarded.
Moving ahead, following the Rwanda Governance Board's latest scorecard and the country's top ranking in Africa on the rule of law, William Evans Mutabazi sat down for an exclusive interview with Honorable Justice Harrison Mutabazi, spokesperson of the judiciary of Rwanda. He provides insight into these rankings and highlights key achievements as well as ongoing reforms within the justice sector. Take a look.
Tonight's conversation is going to be around the scorecard by the Rwanda Governance Board. Of course, you know that the scorecard was released just this week, and part of the people that were scored is the rule of law that was given 81.63%. Of course, under rule of law, we have the legislature, we have the performance of the judiciary, access to justice. And of course, to make sense of this conversation, I'm joined by Honorable Justice Harrison Mutabazi, who is a spokesperson of the judiciary, to make sense of this conversation. Honorable Justice, most welcome to RBN News.
Thank you very much.
Let's begin. I think it has been a very successful week for you in office. One, yes. the World Justice project yes. ranked Rwanda as number 1 in Africa. Of course, giving us 0.06%. I think the target is 1% that no country has so far achieved. But also the Rwanda Governance Board ranks the rule of law in Rwanda at 81.63. Let me pick your thoughts. What do you make of this from where you sit?
Well, thank you very much. From where you sit, as you said, definitely as a judicial officer, that definitely the features in these reports, in the 2 reports, the World Justice Project and the RGB report that came out, definitely the judiciary features in profoundly. That is what I would say. So it shows that we are really progressing, albeit some issues that are still in there, but I would say we're definitely on a right track. For instance, there's a lot that has been done in the judiciary since the major reforms that happened in the year 2004 until to date. There's a lot that's happened. There's a lot that has been done that definitely reflects that is what was put in the reports here.
Maybe yes. to give it a perspective.
Yes.
The rule of law was awarded or scored against 4 indicators. Yes. One is the performance of the legislature, which is at 90.4%, access to justice, which is at 79%. Then we had the performance in the criminal investigation and prosecution, which is at 83%, and then the performance of the judiciary. From the 4 indicators, you notice that access to justice and performance of the judiciary are a bit, for lack of a better word, underscored, or they're not performing as these other 2 pillars. Let's begin from access to justice. When access to justice is, of course, this is scored against NS2 goals. Yes. In terms of NS2 goals, also achieving these goals. What are you doing, or what have you done to deserve the 79.3%? But also, what are you doing to at least make it 100? I think that is a target.
Definitely, as you said rightly, what are we doing to put it up to 100, as you said? But as I said, there's a lot that's been done, but still, we still have some setbacks. And definitely, as you said, when they talk about access to justice, some of the hindrances, and when I speak from our perspective, is the presence of backlogs. And the presence of backlogs is attributed to very many factors, of course. Definitely, some will say it's from the negative perception that we have a lot of backlogs, that, justice will a little bit delayed to be served. But on a positive note is that there's definitely a trust in the courts. So when we talk about backlogs, it means there's more cases that are filed in the dockets of the court. Then when they're there, and to the limits of the number of judicial officers you have to work on them and dispose them off, that they don't match well, that is when we create backlogs, and that's when you say, well, justice is delaying in one way or the other. But as we usually say, and that is a metaphor that definitely we've taken up, justice delayed is justice denied, but justice hurried is justice buried. So for us, where we sit, definitely we need to balance these two. And definitely, we need to see how this can be done, that we serve quality justice, but which is timely. And that is why we are definitely working around in these aspects. But as you asked me, we are not seated and saying definitely we have a lot of backlogs and we're not doing anything on them. There's a lot that we are working around that, as you said, we sojourning on to see that we can go up to 100, as you said. First of all, we are no longer in the classical litigation only in the courts. Before, the courts were only known for litigation, and everyone that was trained in law school was trained mainly to be a litigant. That's the term that I can use, to come and litigate in the courts. But to that, things have changed, and we have very much embraced ADR, that is alternative dispute resolution mechanisms, and in that aspect, we are really doing a lot around, and we think ADR is now going to be a game changer in solving the issues that we have, which are mainly backlogs in the courts. For instance, I'll give you just a brief example. Our last judicial that we concluded, we had 3,199 cases resolved in mediation. That is court-next mediation. We don't count for outside court because those are not in our dockets, but those that are in the dockets that we resolved through mediation, and those are civil matters, civil, administrative, labor, and commercial cases. 3,199 cases, and these are not petty cases or small claim cases as we usually call them. Now, these are huge cases amounting to we had like 4 cases that were amounting to 6 billion Rwandan francs. So you would imagine these cases, if they went through the mainstream litigation, from my experience, they would have taken not less than 5 years in the dockets of the court. But in months, they were resolved through mediation. We spearheaded plea bargaining. You've heard that. Now, that is in the criminal aspect, because people would wonder, you're really talking about civil matters, and what are you doing, especially in the civil cases, in the criminal cases? We ventured into that, and to tell you, our last judicial year, we clocked almost 10,500 cases that we resolved through that. We didn't end there only. We have introduced something called the victim-offender mediation. Still, that is in the criminal aspect, especially in the petty cases and the small claims and misdemeanors. In that, you'll find a victim and offender waiting for mainstream litigation, and then that is where they will go, and we found that that was not also paying off very well. That is when we introduced this. We know it's been done in other instances, especially in RIB, in the investigation department, and in the prosecution. And we thought it also could be embraced in the courts. It is doing very well. The practice directions were issued out 2 months ago. And from then, we have now 255 cases that have been resolved through victim-offender mediation. So it is showing you that there's a lot that is being done on our side to try and enhance other mechanisms to come and support litigation, so that we can have, as we said, quality and timely justice in that aspect, yes.
When you talk about access to justice, sometimes, of course, land colleagues, they will know that ignorance of the law is no defense.
Is no defense, of course.
But you find that it could also contribute to how either the layman accesses justice or is denied justice.
Yes, very much so.
Talk to me about exactly what you're doing to sort of make the law or justice a home. I don't know what to call it. To make it as common. Or as commonly known even to the grassroots, so that every Mutulaja knows that this is the law and this is what is protecting me.
Very much so. Oh, thank you very much. That is a very good question, especially to me, that is the spokesperson of the judiciary. Well, I would definitely acknowledge that though the judiciary, and even in the past, their kind of work wasn't definitely to do outreach and all this. But times have changed, as you said, in that we don't want to have our citizens definitely entrapped with the law because of ignorance. So we've now become very proactive. I think in the past years, in the judiciary, you would never hear that there's a judicial spokesperson who is a judicial officer. You would have a PR probably to only release some announcements and a few of this and make some relations around with the general public. But they decided and said, now we need a judicial officer. A practitioner will come and talk to the general public, to the media and all that. So that is in the aspect of trying to reach out to the general public, the citizens, to know the laws and definitely to know what we are doing, because the Constitution says justice is rendered in the name of the people. So it's in our mandate to definitely be accountable to the citizens on what we are doing to that. So we are trying to do a lot, especially in outreach. I think you've been seeing me a lot coming to RBA. I've been featured in the newspapers. Very much so, definitely, and everywhere the Honorable Chief Justice, whenever he's meeting, we try to call the press, not only to show what we're doing, but also to try and let the general public know, especially what we're doing, and know the law. So we're doing that, and now we're ventured into having at least every year Justice Week. I want to let you know that we're having one in December that is going to be running from the 8th, from the 8th up to the 19th, 2 weeks, and now the courts will now be coming to the citizens. I want to let them know before that we'll be coming to the citizens to try the cases at the grassroots level and have all this happening around there so that the citizen could be knowing what we're doing in the courts, in the chambers. We'll have these plea bargainings in open air where people can follow up without coming to the courts. We have mediation, we have victim offender mediation. So we're having this to be very vibrant, but in sense to try and let the citizens know what we are doing. But not only that, we're also planning to open up a podcast for the judiciary, exclusive for the judiciary. We've been featuring on other podcasts that are hosted by other entities or individuals, but now we're going to open up our own podcast as a judiciary, and all that is done in the name of trying to educate the citizen, because it's also a mandate to us to try and let the citizens know what justice is being done in their name. We also plan to definitely, especially when you came in here, you saw law reports that we have. Now we are issuing out law reports on a daily basis, and we try to send them definitely, especially to lawyers and others that are in those circles. But now we want to let them be sent everywhere that we think, especially law students of interest, easily and freely, and so that they can know what is happening, especially in the courts, the jurisprudence and prevalence, and all that. So we are trying to have a very vibrant campaign to try and educate the citizens, and definitely it's two-way, because when they learn the law, definitely they will abscond from doing bad. And when they abscond to that, definitely cases that come to us will reduce. So it's a two-way thing. Yeah, they will they will definitely get away from being caught up by the law, but also it will ease the backlogs that come into the courts. Yes, sir. It's a win-win situation. Yes, sir.
So, Honorable Justice, if of course these scores or these scorecards are also pitched against NS2 goals.
Yes.
As the judiciary, what are some of the key things that you're working on that you have as your targets?
First of all, the first goal that the judiciary has, and that is our cardinal mandate, is definitely to give quality, as I said, quality justice. That is definitely supposed to be world-class quality justice, but which is timely. So that is what we are working on, definitely. The other, as I said, definitely when I was beginning, and it's even embedded in the NS82 on the judiciary, is using alternative dispute resolution. It's not only for easing the dockets of the courts, but it's also restorative in nature. So that is also part of the judiciary that is contributing in trying to restore the relations that have been broken. Definitely, we usually say that is justice with a human face. And by the way, NS2, at the end of NS2, we think we will be there, and definitely we're having justice that befits the citizens of Rwanda, which definitely we want. They need the best of justice that they need in this way.
Well, many thanks. We can only wish you good luck.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much, and pleasure is for coming to talk to us. Thank you.
Thank you, William Evans, for that insightful interview with the spokesperson of the judiciary of Rwanda. Now we will reconvene shortly after the short break as we dive into the international scene. And that Africa News story marks the end of our bulletin. And we would like to thank you for sticking with us on RTV News. My name is Martina Abera, and on behalf of the news production team, as well as the technical team, would like to wish you a good night.